Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Adams Brothers podcast. We're here this evening with the City of Deerfield Beach Assistant City Manager, Mr. Horace McHugh. He is our new Assistant City Manager. He's been here a few months here today, a few months here with the City of Deerfield, and we finally got a chance to catch up with him and pull him away from his really busy schedule to come by and talk to us. So, Mr. McHugh, welcome to the Adams Brothers podcast.
Well, thank you very much, sir, and thank you for inviting me here. You said I'm new. I'm here about 4 months, and I know you had extended the invitation, but just jumping in and trying to get my feet wet, it took a little while. So I apologize for waiting 4 months, but I appreciate the invitation and really appreciate being here.
Well, we certainly understand. It's a busy job, and we're very patient. Whenever you could get a chance to come by and talk to us, we appreciate it. Yes. So, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, Mr. McHugh? Where did you go to school? Where did you grow up at? Give us a little bit about your educational background and just tell us what brought you here to Deerfield Beach.
Well, like a number of people who are here, I was not born here. I was actually born in Jamaica, grew up in Jamaica, and then migrated to the US when I was 17 um, after finishing high school. Um, I started working there and worked full time in the days, and then went to school full time at nights. So doing both of those things dually was extremely challenging. So I worked in a bank and continued that profession for about 11 years, and then went to school full time at nights, earning my bachelor's in finance. Um, Took a little break for about a year and then continued on and did my master's in finance also. So working in a financial environment, I was along the track of finance and did that both in my undergrad and graduate. Um, some point my wife and I visited Florida and got enamored with the environment down here, the greenery, the open space, the clean life, and the complete stark difference to New York. So we decided to move down here. And after moving down here, job hunting, moved from the banking industry to the public administration industry. And with that, started my first job in the city with the city of Fort Lauderdale. So that was the start in government and in the municipal environment. So that was 30 years ago, because I'm now in government for 30 years, working in a variety of cities in a variety of positions, and have been involved in a number of rewarding opportunities serving the public and serving the community.
Okay.
That's good. Seems like you definitely love serving the
Yeah.
public.
And you've been around.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
well, in Fort Lauderdale, I worked there 12 years, and that was a variety of that was a start. So you're on the ground working in the city manager's office in the public services area in utilities, engineering. Spent 2 years in the fire department working there. So it gave me an opportunity to be rounded and to be familiar with not just the city manager's office, but some aspects of the operations in the public works and utilities and fire. Those are critical operations. With that experience, then I went to the city of Miami Gardens. And at the time I went there, that was a startup city that had just been incorporated. So I went there as a fifth employee. And when I left there, like 4.5 years later, we were over 500, close to 550 employees. So I was responsible for building the administrative side, which involved the support services, IT and HR and the payroll and finance and all the administrative side of things. So that was an extremely rewarding, you know, time and work. It was challenging, it was demanding, but it was very, very rewarding in terms of building a city. One of the things we did, for example, is started a police department. Moved away from the Miami-Dade Metro Sheriff's Department and move into creating our own department. So that in itself is very, as I said, demanding. But at the end, after going through the steps of the hiring and the equipment and all that, you see the reward. So did that in that city for 4.5 years, and then moved to Oakland Park as the assistant city manager, overseeing, reporting to the city manager, but overseeing everything there. And that's in Broward County, a city about half of this size. Moved from there to the chief administrative officer in Plantation, and did that for 4 years. Moved to Coral Springs and worked there as a deputy city manager for a year, and then to North Miami Beach, where I served as the assistant city manager for about 1.5 years, before leaving there. In North Miami Beach, for example, one of the challenges that we had, or one of the projects that we had, was insourcing our utilities department. It was contracted. It was our utilities department years ago. It was sent over to contract, and one of the things that our commission wanted was to go ahead and insource it again, and they gave us the mandate to have that insourced within a 6-month period. So that's something that we had to go ahead and in an accelerated manner again, do the recruitment and the training and the takeover and the protocols and all that to insource our utilities department. So that too was a rewarding opportunity. When I left there for 6 years, what I did is consulted with the city of Cooper City, because they had received about 18 million in funding from the federal government doing ARPA programs, ARPA grants. So they needed someone to help come in, set it up, and get it in a manner that it's statutorily compliant, so that then it could be handed over to the various project managers to do that. So they had about 55 projects and programs that they wanted to go ahead and set up, and I was able to help them set that up to move it forward. While finishing up there, I saw this opportunity in Deerfield Beach, and it had a number of things that appealed to me. It was a coastal city similar to what I'd started. It's a relatively larger city. There are opportunities for redevelopment. They've got capital needs in terms of stormwater, and so the opportunity to look at those things to help to lend my experience to help facilitate improvement in some of those areas. I've got local transit, which I've served for years on a transit board. So there are a number of things that were extremely appealing in terms of ways I could contribute to the goals of the city. And in speaking to the city manager, his goals and his visions were aligned. Mine were aligned with his, I should say. So it was an easy sell for me to come here.
Well, welcome to Deerfield Beach.
Yes,
You've actually been around quite a few cities, and you've obviously been in government for quite some time, and you're very familiar with how government operates. And we'd like to take the time to welcome you to Deerfield Beach, and we're proud to have the experience that you have that you can bring here to Deerfield Beach.
Right.
And you have a bachelor's degree in finance and a master's in finance. Obviously, you are very good with numbers. So we welcome you here to the city of Deerfield Beach. So I'll go on into like one of my first questions. It's a basic question. How much money are we approximately? How much money are we operating with for the 2022-2023 budget?
Our budget, we just adopted that, and that's about a $333 million budget. That includes our contracted fire services, our contracted BSO services, contracted services for code enforcement and other services like that. It also involves some of our utilities, which is more like a business fund. So you've got our solid waste or sanitation or stormwater and or water sewer. So it's about the $330,000 range.
And of course, maybe half of that would probably go to public safety, correct?
A significant amount, yes, yes. And you've got the needs that include things like, yes, you've got public safety, which is substantial, but you also have things like parks and recreation that leads to an improved quality of life within the community, a diversion alternative thing for people to do, to avoid then going into the public safety arena. Things like code enforcement, doing that to keep the community clean, so that you don't have a negative blighted effect. So yeah, it's a variety of things, and the balance for us as administrators is to build one that it's not wholly on one side. You can give everything to public safety and then nothing to the parks and nothing to economic development and nothing to some of the other areas. And what you want to do is to build a balanced budget in terms of the needs, in terms of the services that the community needs, in terms of programs, activities, and things to do to keep the community, balanced and serving the best needs, the overall needs of a wider community.
Yes, and City Manager McHugh, what is the current millage rate for the 2022-2023 budget, if you know?
The millage rate, I don't have the exact number because those are really specifics. Like you'd say 6.3, so I don't want to lie, but it's a notch lower than it was last year. When we did the budget, one of the objectives of the commission was to go ahead and try to fund as much as possible. But at the end of the day, they wanted to say they felt that it was important to try and at least reduce at some level. We're happy that we're able to come in doing that and reduce slightly. Some of the things the budget was able to do is include enhancement of our fire rescue services. We had a fire station 66 that was recently opened, relocated from a different city into Deerfield Beach. We've got things like an agreement, a partnership with the Bezos Academy to provide free elementary and beyond education to underserved members of the community. We're redeveloping one of our community centers. So those are all things that were in the budget. Significant partnerships that we think would benefit and will be of benefit to the community. The city manager felt it was important to try, the vision of the elected officials had been to get some of this done. And the city manager was able to work within the budget to get a lot of these things accomplished. So we were extremely proud that, after moving through the process, that was able to be accomplished. Some of the things in terms of internal process improvements, an enterprise resource system, that is being looked at and being done now. We try our best to try and retain and attract and retain staff, good quality staff, because they come with experience, they come with ideas, and they provide a better value to the community. One of the things we're doing is looking at our compensation plan so that we can be at least competitive with other municipalities. Because one of the challenges is, as others offer more or something different, people then would leave, and then you've got the vacancy, and then the recruitment time, and then the onboarding time, and you've lost at least 7-8 months in terms of productivity from that person. So those are all things that are included in the budget that we are looking at that we're very, very proud of this year.
And also, thank you for that. That was very informative. Dixie Highway has been a hot topic here for years, at least 25 years now, if not longer. And I know you're one of your areas is economic development. Um, what do you think can be done to speed up the process of getting Dixie Highway developed? Just a thought. I mean, I'm not saying this is, I'm not asking you to go out on a limb. I'm just saying, what do you think from your experiences, something that can get it going from over the past that has been stalled? What do you think?
So without answering that question, let me tell you some of the things that are being done. In this budget is included the position of an economic development coordinator. That may be the wrong title, but the role, that person has been hired, and the role of that person is to focus on redevelopment within that central city. So that person is on staff already. That person at the District 2 meeting that we had, you had an opportunity to see her. She was introduced. She's been out there and engaging in the community, engaging with people. In addition to that, one of the other things that was done was a plan to reactivate the corridor here along the Dixie track, and I think that was referred to as Pioneer Grove. So that's been mentioned. We have been having workshops, sharing that with the community and getting the community input on issues like that, for them to give their input and seeking grants to at least start moving that forward. Other things we're doing along the Dixie corridor, looking at our drainage system and developing a comprehensive plan to address drainage. For example, if there's consistent and recurring flooding, it may not be as appealing to some business who would want to come in and invest there. So those are all things that are going on now, which I'm involved in and strongly advocate. And those are simple, well, not simple, but those are things that will serve to revitalize the corridors, serve as a foundation, serve as a catalyst for then attracting others to the corridor. One of the things that we had done, I'm saying we, not me, but the city had done, was to get funding from the state for fencing along the railroad track. So there's a decorative fence there. The city is in communication to try and develop the FEC railroad corridor, and as a bright line is being discussed as a source of moving traffic. We're looking at getting a hub along there. So those are all things that are along the corridor that will occur, that will revitalize the city. One of the other big things that's occurring, which may not be specific to the Dixie corridor, but it's also the development of the 10th Street expressway, and that's connecting Sawgrass Expressway to 95 and beyond. So that will create a lot of opportunities in terms of relieving the local road of the traffic that normally could go on the expressway, allowing that to connect to 95 and providing kind of a reduced traffic, a better flow, and a better kind of quality of life for people on the local roads, as well as creating a better access to the East Dixie area. So those are just some general things that are occurring now. The thing with this, like the Sawgrass, it takes a while. So it takes some time to have the concept, to meet, to plan, to design, and then to start construction and to implement. So, if you don't know that it's happening, you may get a sense that nothing is occurring. The other thing with the 10th Street, that's a project that's not city, it's a Department of Transportation. So it's a matter of us working in partnership to represent the needs of the community and ensure that that's being represented and striking a balance between the needs of the residential members of the community, especially those that live there, the business sector that's along that corridor, other members of the community, as well as others outside the community who will need to use both the 95, the expressway, and other areas like that.
And while we're talking about the 10th Street project, do you know if improved lighting will be part of the improvements along 10th Street uh, with the DOT? Because me personally, I've been sending emails into the city of Deerfield to the engineering department to Priscilla, I believe. I can't pronounce her last name right off the top of my head. Priscilla, she's the director, and from let's say Power Line Road to Federal Highway, yeah, I could count at least 60,
And the Dixie
60
corridor.
lights that are out, and that's been out for over a year now. And from Hillsborough all the way down to Sample Road,
Yes.
you could count for 30, 40 lights out. And I've been, trying to get these lights improved. And since we were talking about the 10th Street project, that was my question. Would that be a part of the improvements, the lighting on 10th Street? Because it is very dark from Power Line Road
So-
all the way to Federal.
And
So
I
the-
see trucks out there working now on the lights on Dixie too. So I just wanted to say that.
So
I see trucks.
So the 10th Street project is a comprehensive project that deals with, landscaping and lighting, and we're working with them in terms of sound wall and beautification. We're engaging the community, having community meetings. We've had a number of community meetings. We've invited members of the community, sent it out. So that is included as a comprehensive part. And again, that's a DOT project. We're pushing and advocating as much as possible to DOT to include as much as possible that will benefit the communities. In terms of the lighting being out, what we have found out, because we continue to get that complaint, we continue to reach out, and what we found out is that people are stealing the materials that's creating the connectors. So once they steal it, then it no longer works. So we have to go out there. We have to identify that, go out there, and then go ahead and try to replace it. And in this environment, there are certain things that are at a premium in terms of cost, number one. But when you do go ahead and place the order, it's not coming immediately. It takes a while to get there. So that's the challenge that you're seeing. And I apologize that, these are the types of things that we can do a better job communicating to the community so that they are aware. And we apologize if we have not done that, but that's really what's going on. We are very, very attentive to it. We've put the requests in, but the responses in terms of, the agency to do the correction or to fix the stolen equipment and parts, that takes a while.
And I want to be clear that, that I do see the electricians out there, the contractors out there, they are working, and I exercise along that route every day. And I take pictures, and when I see a light pole with the cover plate open and there's electrical wires hanging out.
Yes.
And I can't just walk past and ignore that, and some kid goes by and sticks their hand in there, and I send emails in to make sure that the city doesn't get sued, and ultimately we have to pay for it, the taxpayers. So,
and we appreciate that. And what you probably see is the fact that somebody has stolen it and didn't go ahead and fix it back in the condition they saw it. So
right.
Had it been a contractor, it would have been restored to a comfortable state. Yeah.
And we do appreciate the staff that they're working on it, and just trying to keep them aware of what's going on down there. It's not that we're complaining; we're just we're taxpayers, and we want to make sure that we know what's going on here.
That's fine. That's
transparency.
yes.
And you know what, Horace, you said one good thing, and that's communication. If the public would know that someone is stealing the material, like at a district meeting or newsletter, or either on the city's website, we can look out, because it's more eyes to see when a person, we know now, I'll be watching myself too. And if I see anyone looking suspicious, of course, I'm going to call the police, because I'm tired of going down the street at night and it's total darkness, almost
dark.
total darkness.
Very dark. Very
Right,
unsafe.
right. And in terms of communication, we try. That's one of the things that the manager has tasked his staff with. So we have a public a department that does that, public affairs and marketing, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's other social media. We have our commission meetings that we try to stream live, while others, in terms of municipalities, have gone away from the Zoom platform. We offer that as an opportunity for people to still stay engaged. We've got updates on the website, but also we have the opportunity for you to sign up to be notified for various opportunities in Deerfield Beach, because we'll push things out, and you can sign up for various things that you are interested in, whether it's information like that, or whether it's parks activities and recreational programs that are coming up. So our communications department, they do that. We try to provide some updates at commission meetings also. So if you do watch that, we provide the commission with relevant information. And our district commissioners on a regular basis have district meetings. I know we recently had one in District 2, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So those are opportunities for communicating, and at each of those, like the district meetings, there may be a specific topic or two that's being covered, but the manager normally takes some time on the agenda to give a general update. The district meeting a couple of days ago, I know there was the update on the FAU Research Boulevard project that the city is moving forward with. So those are just some of the things that's going on within the community, and some of the ways we try to communicate, as well as get the input from the community on maybe pros and cons and their preferences, and then we'll try and build on that and maybe suggest in the event that there are different ways of doing it. Once we get input, we can then revise and adjust and move forward with the projects.
Okay, we only got a few more questions for you.
Sure.
What do you see as a critical need in Deerfield Beach right now?
Well, I see a lot of the things that I had mentioned as critical needs. I know we have issues with flooding. We've got issues with the need for economic development and revitalization of businesses. So those are all critical needs that's being addressed now. We've got facilities needs, and so those are all things that we see that I think the commission and the manager, they have tasked the city manager with looking at them and try to address them.
Yes,
I mean, in addition to routine things like public safety and trying to get the crime and criminal activities reduced, and whether it's speeding and all that, and maintain response times, maintain the quality of life through code enforcement and all that, providing services, quality services through parks and recs. Those are all general recurring needs, but some of the unique ones are that I mentioned.
Any aspirations to be a city manager again in the future?
I'm comfortable where I am, and my desire is to provide service and to support and to be a member of a great team. I've got that partnership now in terms of the city manager, in terms of the elected officials who we are serving, in terms of the community. So my aspirations is not to be the city manager, but to be off service and to be contributing, providing valued contributions to the team. And I think I'm doing that now. So I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable where I am now, doing what I'm doing.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself still being here. I see a number of the initiatives and projects that I've mentioned. They, as I did say, a number of them take a while. So, I see myself jumping in now, a number of them at the starting point, and seeing a few of them through to fruition. 10th Street, for example, that may not be through to fruition at that point, but that should be substantially on its way and started. Some of the capital programs that I'd mentioned, or the stormwater drainage, or the FAU Research Boulevard, some of those should be moving along. So in 5 years, I see myself, being proud of the contribution that I've made with the team and with the commission to move some of those forward and making, enhancements and improvements to the community.
Okay. And on a final note, we were at the meeting a week or so ago, and Commissioner Preston, he did an outstanding job of,
as always,
and presenting the Breakaway, I believe, for Active Aging. I believe that's what it's called.
Yes.
And he informed the community that they were going to be trying to attempt to name that. It passed. They were going to name it Breakaway because
yes,
it was an old school there for African Americans there years ago, and a lot of people in this district, particularly in District 2, went to that school. And for that to be named after the old Breakaway School is huge and astronomical. And then we want to thank the city because you all did an outstanding job of presenting that to the public, and it passed. And we just want to give you all kudos from the mayor, all of the commissioners, city manager, as well as yourself. Job well done, and keep up the good work.
And we hope to have you back on here. Don't be shy to come back on here.
Well, yeah, but first, let me just, I don't like to take credit where I don't earn it. So I think that was the district commissioner who had that idea, brought it to the community, got the community support, and got the elected official support. So staff just provided just the information. So that wasn't a staff initiative. So just wanted to be clear that yeah. Now, one thing I will say, that facility is being redeveloped, and that's another project that's being done. That center. So that's being redeveloped, and that the Center for Active Aging should be available maybe summer of next year as a new facility. And with that facility, it's something that will offer that, that location will also house the Montessori style preschool with Bezos. So it will offer opportunities from preschool to seniors, and that's extremely exciting. And it shows a range of what we do. I know here, for example, we offer things for teens, after school, and teen center dedicated to the teens. Just seeing the various needs of various age groups within our community, and trying to provide that, and the transportation that goes with it, either whether it's for the teens or for the seniors. So those are just some things I just wanted to highlight in terms of what's going on at the city, what we are doing, and I appreciate the opportunity and appreciate being invited on.
Oh, absolutely. We just had to bring that up. And if when will the groundbreaking be for the Tigner Center, Johnny Tigner Center? Do you know when that will actually get off the ground, and completion date?
I do not know that. I do not know that, but I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's another project that's being done. So here we are, mentioning a number of things that's going on here at the city, and it's really kind of a testament to the commission and the vision that they have, and the direction that they want to go, and then in terms of staff getting it done through the city manager's direction. So I'm glad you mentioned that, and thank you.
All right.
And you know what? And I'll say this, not to be self-gloating. My brother here, he pushed that project as far as the expansion of the seating. So he pushed it because they were going to go with a limited seating. So that's why I say our podcast is here for a reason. We're not here to tear no one down.
And we appreciate that. That's why we want community involvement. That's why a number of these initiatives, we're going to the community and saying, here's a design. What's your input? How can it be enhanced or revised or modified? Or what are your thoughts? We may not agree, but at least we want to have the dialogue, and that's why we appreciate that kind of stuff. So we thank you for being an advocate for the expansion and pushing that. So yes, we'll definitely let you know when the groundbreaking is going to be occurring.
And also, I wanted to mention this because our public needs to know this too. As far as when we had a high rise in crime here, I personally pushed for the spot shotter. That was one of my ideas, and also the tag readers, the license tag readers, because
Right.
the city comes to the community and they ask, what can the community do to help stem the rise in violence and gun violence?
Right.
The issue that
We
this
still- we
podcast
still-
right here that we came up with, I came up with the spot shotter and the tag reader. So I want the public to know that, and I thank you for coming on our show.
Yeah, one of the other things that we did, and I'm saying we, but the city manager and the commission did last year, created an Office of Public Safety, and that was to focus on public safety, which includes the crime, the criminal activity, and supporting that kind of needs. So I think that was recognized, and it's within that realm that yes, it's good that was combined, and that's under the auspices of that department. So that's great. Yeah.
We have been talking to the City of Deerfield Beach Assistant City Manager, Mr. Horace McHugh. We want to thank you so much for stopping by and talking to the Adams Brothers podcast and answering our questions. And we're happy to have you on our podcast, and we don't want you to be shy about coming back on here again. We like to talk to other directors and managers if they would be so kind to come on here and talk to us. We would like to talk to them too. But thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come by and talk to us. And we hope to have you back on here real soon.
And we want to thank Rebecca Medina too. We want to thank her too for getting you and hopefully getting other staff members to come on our podcast and just have a dialogue just like we're having right now. That's it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so very much, and I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
You have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.